Hello, YouTube. Just how good is the recently released OpenAI Agent Builder? Well, you'll find out in this video. Subscribe to the channel, like this video. Without further ado, this is Jay Techie. Let's get started. As you can see here, you have to log in to the OpenAI playground for developers, and you will be presented with a new feature called Agent Builder. And so right now I'm on the agent screen, and you can see the different templates of pre-made workflows that are available to you. And so you can always look at these and study how they are built in order to build your own. But for now, I'm going to start with a brand new template. So I'm going to hit the create button here, and then it brings me to this menu here with the start and my agent template. And with this new agent builder, this will allow you to be able to create AI agents more quickly without using much code. So the intentions of Agent Builder is to allow you to create AI agents without much code, and no matter of fact, you can export the code if you would like, but it's a user drag and drop interface, but you can view the code and also publish it to your own application or website in order to use the agent. And for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an AI agent that will help us discover meal ideas, such as recipes that we can use to create a meal. And also I'm going to have an option of choosing a random surprise recipe that it will come up with for us, or a recipe that we will give input to it about, such as if I want it to be a vegan recipe, or a recipe involving chicken, a recipe involving steak and green beans, or whatever input I would like to put. But I'm going to be doing that today and testing if it can do that. Alright, so let's go ahead and do it. Alright, so right now we have a start node here, and we have a AI agent here, and so I'm going to use multiple agents. So this first agent will determine whether the user is wanting a random recipe or a actual recipe that the user will give input for. Okay, hope that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and name this the classifier, and I'm going to go ahead and say you're a helpful assistant. So the only job of this AI agent, the first one here, is to establish the user intent of those two scenarios. Alright, and I'm going to specify the output as JSON, and I'm going to add a schema here where I'm going to add a property where actually be enum, and this is actually going to be random and given input. So, or I'm gonna actually change that to in input given, and then I'm gonna change this guy to classifier. So with the enum, it should be able to determine either this or that, random or input given. And I'm going to go ahead and update that accordingly there. Okay, now I'm going to add an if statement to branch the two situations. Remember, we have the random or the given input from the user regarding the recipe, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the if else node in order to add that, and we're going to connect this to our classifier agent like so, and then we're going to go if this case name, if random, so we put the case name here, if random recipe, then so in the if else, I need to enter the following here, the input dot output underscore parse dot, and this needs to be the same variable as what we have here, which is in the output format here. We need this for that needs to be the same as in our if statement, and also this random needs to be also matching the statement in the if statement. So I had random recipe. Actually, I would like for, well, okay, we can do this too as well and have it say random. Okay, and then that's how this if statement should be structured. Alright, so now we will go and create the branch for the random recipe. And so if it is a random recipe, that's going to be a agent that will help us do a random recipe. So this agent will be connected to the random recipe condition here. So it's connected. Now this will be random recipe agent, and this guy, so this guy is simply to generate random recipe. And so I'm going to add a tool to him that will be the tool that we'll be adding for him is going to be accessing web search, so that he can be able to get a random recipe for us. He doesn't necessarily need an API since he can search the web for this particular purpose. So, you could put which websites he should search and which country and things, but I'm just going to leave the default and hit add. And then boom, we have our random recipe agent here. And then next, alright, so else it's going to be another agent, and this time the agent is, I'm going to select agent up here on the menu, And then this agent will recommend the recipe, user input. This will be user input recipe agent. So you will gather the user input on preferences they have for a particular meal plan, and based on this input, your job is to recommend a recipe meal plan the user can cook. Alright, so I'm going to also give this agent the ability to search the internet for the meal plan, and I'm going to select the web search, and again it's not going to be a I don't need to put anything in there. It's going to be the default settings. And so, alright, I have these two agents here ready to handle the random recipe input and the user input recipe agent. Okay, there's one thing I want to adjust before I go ahead and test the agent. I'm going to go back to my classifier agent here, and then I have the settings panels over here, and then what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to hit this plus button by the instructions, and then I'm going to change this to the assistant, and I'm going to have it say, so I'm going to have this text here. Please specify whether you want a random recipe or a recipe you want to give preferences for, and I will forward this info to the appropriate specialist agent. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to hit the preview button here, and here I can enter in what I want, and I'm going to say, I'm going to go ahead and say, give me a random recipe. Okay, so I went ahead and done that, and it goes through the classifier and identifies whether I want a random recipe or not, and then it chooses the random recipe agent. Now the random recipe agent is working and going to see if it can give me a recipe. No, that's not quite what I want you to do. Random recipe agent. Okay, so I'm going to tweak the random agent actually to see if we can get them to work better. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this so that it can be able to specify, be able to not be so strict, and let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the preview, and then I'm going to go ahead and say give me a random recipe. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. Alright, it's going through the classifier. It determined it was the random recipe agent, and the random recipe agent is going ahead and thinking, and it goes ahead and says, here's a tasty random pick: 1 pan creamy lemon garlic chicken orzo. Okay, and it went ahead and gave me the actual recipe this time, which is wonderful. Okay, now for a richer experience, I'm going to go ahead and get a widget from the widget builder that I can attach to this agent. So, okay, so here's the widget builder. It's widgets.chatkit.studio, and it's a tool made by OpenAI where you can make these widgets to complement your agents. So I went ahead and have it built this widget so that we can have like an output that looks something like this, with the actual meal and the time it takes with the ingredients and instructions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and download this, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in my agent, and I will show you guys how to do that in just a sec. Okay, so what I would do is I click on the agent, and then I go to the output format, which is below the tools on the side here, and then the output format I would select widget, and then the widget appears here. Then I hit this plus, and I go ahead and upload the widget that I just created, and the widget is actually here. And so I go ahead and attach that, which is a preview of it here, and yeah, that's what I want. And then I should be able to go ahead and test it. So I'm going to go ahead and test it. Please give me something random. Alright, so said to give it me something random. Now it's classifying. Then now the random recipe agent is activated. I played around with it a bit, and it appears that it's not necessarily displaying the widget in this preview. It's actually having this encoded format here, where it's displaying probably all the coding for the widget, but just not the actual widget itself, which I'm not sure why it's not displaying. Maybe it might be too big for this particular application to display it, but I'll look into this and see if I can, find out a solution, and if I do, I'll post them in the comments. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video, and this is how you can make a agent in the OpenAI Agent Builder. Have fun. I'll include the links in the descriptions. Please subscribe to my channel. This is Jay Techie. Have a wonderful day.